So, hello, everybody. Welcome back to More Than Mer. It's our second episode. So, if you're just joining us or if you are joining us for the second time, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Today, I have Starr, the Lemonade Mermaid, here with us. Starr,
Hello.
thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So basically, More Than a Mer, for those of you just joining, because like I said, we're only on episode 2. We're talking about the nitty gritty of mermaiding and how it's a lot more work than people think. People think that we just sit there and look pretty. And while hopefully that's the end goal, that we're looking pretty while we sit there, it takes a lot of work to get there. And Starr definitely knows a lot about that by running the Lemonade Mermaids. You're a PADI Mermaid Instructor. You make your own silicone tops that you sell. You do so much stuff.
Mm-hmm. It feels like I never stop moving ever. Yeah. Oh God. I mean, it's fun. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of work sometimes, especially when the weather gets warmer and people want to do more with mermaids. Oh boy.
Yeah, definitely. What's one thing that really kind of gets under your scales about mermaiding or mermaid top making or anything in the industry?
It's just so, as I said earlier, it's hard for me to, I don't know, I try to just mind my own business. I guess if I really had to come up with something, it would be how confusing the PADI Mermaid program can be. I feel like I'm constantly unwrapping an enigma that's surrounded by a cloud of confusion, but we get there.
Yeah, definitely. And what's kind of when people do approach you about PADI Mermaid and they're confused, what do you kind of explain to them to kind of sort it out and make it as least confusing as possible?
Well, I do say, like, in the grand scheme of things, it's relatively new, so everybody's still working out the kinks even after the few years that it's become more popular. I try to contact our representative guy directly with any questions, and he's usually able to clear them up pretty quickly. I don't know if you have Eric. I have Eric. Hi, Eric.
Yeah, definitely. I message Eric all the time for everything. He's so helpful.
Eric's great. I like him a lot. He's always ready. Thank God. But I mean, I just try to explain everything and reduce it down to basic terms as best as I can. I mean, it's really all about communication. So we could all communicate better in the mermaid world, if I'm being honest.
Definitely. And not just in the mermaid world. Oh my goodness, my voice. But not just in the mermaid world. I feel like in general these days, everybody can communicate better. Communication is something that we just don't, it's not that we don't do it anymore. It's just the way of communicating is so different than it was a few years ago that people have kind of lost how to communicate at all because I don't know if they just aren't used to practicing or I don't know. But I think, like you said, breaking it down is definitely a great way to do it.
I found that like 90% of issues I run into with PADI or mermaid tops or just mermaiding in general, it's absolutely something that can be solved if we just take 5 minutes to talk to each other, not over the texting, but like in person or on FaceTime where you can actually see somebody and really get the bigger picture of what's going on. And then problem solve. Like I don't think I've run into anything that I haven't been able to quickly handle. So
yeah, and especially like you said, when it comes to texting and emails, I feel like clients sometimes they'll say they read your email and then they don't actually read your email or something, or one of their issues will be something that you clearly have already discussed in the email and then they just forget it conveniently or I don't know. So yeah, I agree, having that in person or actual speaking is definitely a way to clear things up quickly.
But you should always have an email backup for everything that you talk about. Like even after you get off of the phone, just send an email like, hey, to reiterate, this is what we spoke about and this is how I understood and blah, 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 just to have a paper record because you never know who's going to do something weird to you. Like, like what happened last year with the Pride Festival. So Yay, communication.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely important to have that written backup, like you said, just in case you need it. So anybody that out there is trying to get into any sort of business, keep that in mind, that even if you talk about it on the phone, have a written proof of what was said, just in case. Yeah. So tell us about owning the Lemonade Mermaids. What's that like? What are some of your favorite parts of running a mermaid company?
I mean, so especially when it comes to the performance team, it's not something that is the most serious thing in the world. I think we're all very relaxed in what we're doing, at least in that specific group. And everybody tends to get along pretty well from what I can tell. But I've also said if you have an issue, take it out of the group chat because I don't want to hear it. But I don't, like I said, from what I can tell, everybody's very pleasant and nice and cares about what they're doing and has fun. And people have good ideas and people are funny. Like I don't know if you how often you read through, but they're hilarious, which is great because I like working with people who have a lot of personality. And it's nice to just work with a group of people that you click really well with. I'd say that I'm fortunate that you guys kind of rallied around and decided that you had a common goal with me and with each other that we've all been able to work on and do. It is, I don't know, it's just fun. so that's
Definitely
fun. And we don't get every single gig in the world, and that's okay because we don't need to do that. We don't have to do that. It's mostly about, I think, having a place where we can just do our thing and not have to worry too much about what other people are doing or what else is going on. Like the Lemonade Mermaids, what are we going to do? So, and I like being able to bounce ideas off of you guys, and y'all are very honest with me, which I appreciate. The last thing I want is for anybody to beat around the bush when they're talking to me or giving me feedback, and you guys definitely don't, which I love. So keep doing that, lay the smack down on me if you have to. I really don't mind. And it's just been a great experience as a business owner to learn how to manage people and how to deal with different types of personalities, all that good stuff. It's great. I think I walk away from a gig liking at least one thing about every person I've interacted with. I rarely walk away. Yeah, I rarely walk away thinking, oh my God, that was terrible. I almost always walk away thinking, even if that wasn't the best, like this is still something that I enjoyed, or I like this part of it, or I like this person. So it's been fun. It's been an overall positive experience.
I feel like that's an important mindset to have, because if you don't necessarily look for the positives or think about the positives, it can be really easy to kind of let negativity bring you down. And mermaids are so magical that people might not necessarily think that, but mermaids can be catty. And like you said, we're very fortunate that in the Lemonade Mermaids we're not that bad, but just in general, like people can be dramatic, and the outside world at gigs can affect people. And so I think having that mindset of finding a positive thing for each gig is definitely a great way to look at things.
I think one of the most important things is to just never take anything personally. I really don't. That doesn't mean like be a doormat, but I think that a lot of issues that arise, interpersonal issues that arise between people in the mermaid world, it's a lot of feelings getting hurt and a lot of things getting taken personally, which, we're all human. I get it. But if you're running a business, you really have to put that aside and say, okay, well, this happened and I didn't like it. What can I learn from it so that I can prevent this situation next time? Or how can I better communicate or get my point across so that there's no misunderstanding? And a lot of the times the way people react, it doesn't really have anything to do with you. It has to do with something that's going on with their life. So why would I take that personally? It's like, okay, you got your own thing going on and you're having a moment. Like, why don't you take a few minutes to cool off and we can talk about it later because, you're upset. So, again, I think if that's something that gets under my scales is how personally we all take everything. as business owners, like we really need to take a step back and take a breath before we react. So
yeah, that's an important thing to keep in mind for sure. Going back to the PADI side of things, I guess what's one thing that coming into the PADI Mermaid world do you wish you would have known before you became an instructor? Like already being certified as PADI Mermaid, PADI Advanced Mermaid, but before you took that instructor step, what's one thing that you wish you either would have known or would have spent more time exploring, or any of that side?
I think I knew what I was getting myself into, so I don't really look back and think, darn, I wish I knew this, because I don't really make decisions super quickly. Like I took the time to really think about if this is something that I wanted to do. If there was one thing that I could change, I wish it would be a little easier to get students, but I think a big reason for that was the area that I was in. I was in Virginia, but now I'm in Florida, so I'm expecting it to be a little easier, but I haven't really started it up yet, so we'll see. But also, I think people don't really know what it is, and even when you explain it to them, they still don't know what it is, or they don't get it, or they think that it's weird. Like in other countries and other areas such as Asia, the mermaiding thing is really big, way bigger than it is here, and everybody kind of knows what it is and accepts it as an aesthetic, or just a thing that people do, and it's easier to get a little bit more traction over there. But also, isn't PADI like an Asian thing anyway, so they would have more access to, I don't know if the PADI Mermaid,
there's like a PADI Asia headquarters, but there's also like the PADI Americas headquarters. There's like a
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Mermaiding in general is like really big over there. Like
yeah, I wasn't sure if they had access to the PADI Mermaid program first and had.
Oh yeah, they definitely did.
Okay, so they had more. They've had more of a chance to develop it and really advertise it and explain it to people. I just think that it hasn't gotten to that point here yet. So dealing with that is kind of annoying, but it is what it is, and ultimately that's my problem as a business owner, to make sure I'm advertising properly. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, best of luck to you, but I completely feel you on that point. I feel like last year, especially, I decided like, oh, I really want to reach out to dive shops, and I don't necessarily need to be the mermaid instructor at the dive shops, but I want to reach out to dive shops and as an instructor trainer, be like, hey, if you want to have the mermaid program, I can come certify the people you already have to be able to teach the mermaid program. And like you said, like even in the PADI world and the scuba world that's already diving, they are still like, what is this? What do you mean?
The dive shops don't want us in there. The dive shops do not want us in there, and I can't figure out why. Like, what do you mean you don't want a mermaid? That's weird. But I don't know. I could go into my theories as to why that is. I don't think that this is the appropriate podcast for that. I might get a little bit too fired up, but
yeah, no worries.
I can talk about it later. But I'm not really a big fan of dive shops in general for various reasons that I don't really need to go into right now. So I think the way that I'm doing things as an independent person, just not really operating out of a dive shop, just operating off of my own whatever. I think that just is what's going to work best for me anyway. So
honestly, I think for the mermaid program, as of right now, at least, until maybe we do get to the point that Asia's at, if America ever gets to that point, I think that that's probably the way to go. And it's successful for other mermaid instructors.
It works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, hopefully that takes off for you down there in Florida. Better than it did in Virginia anyway. In Virginia is so hard too, because there's just no pools that let you have tails at all.
Well, here's the thing about Virginia. I didn't have any problem finding pools. So
oh, really?
Anybody out there in Virginia, if you need help finding a pool, let me know. I didn't have any problem finding pools. I had problems finding, people to take the classes, and that was where I had the problem. So I didn't. It's just, and it was weird too, because I lived in Virginia Beach, Hampton, Norfolk. I lived in all those places. And I'm like, Norfolk's the mermaid city and doesn't really feel like they want us there. Like I try getting in contact with so many like festivals and people to try to, you know, get us out there and educate people about the mermaid program and just entertain, anything at all. And they were, especially Norfolk, was really resistant to that for some reason, which just seems a little bit ironic, but it is what it is.
Yeah, there's so many mermaid statues. For those of you that don't know Norfolk, there's mermaid statues literally everywhere.
Yeah,
like
Norfolk is the mermaid city.
Like,
it's the mermaid city, 100%.
Yeah.
So, but it, you know, it's just, again, as a business owner, that's my problem. I got to figure that out. So, Florida, like I said, I haven't really had much of a chance to spread my wings down here. I've been focusing on unpacking and catching up with orders and whatnot, but we'll see. I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit better. And at the very least, I can go to the springs anytime I want now, which is great.
Yeah, that's nice. Swim with some manatees.
There were a ton out there the other day. There were, I don't know, somebody said there were 51.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't there that day, but it was a couple days before I went there. They said that there were 51 manatees in Silver Glen. Maybe I misheard, but that's what it sounded like.
Maybe, yeah. The last spring that I was at, there were 6 of them, which
yeah,
a lot. But it was a lot for that one. If I had gone to like Crystal River, that would be literally nothing. They would be like 6. Were you there in the middle of summer? Like, so maybe Silver Glen is used to having a lot. I don't know.
I'm not totally sure. I haven't super familiarized myself with the manatee population and what they do.
Yeah.
Maybe I should.
You got time.
Time.
So I hear you're having a sale on your tops. This will be coming out March 1st. So you'll still have a sale for like literally a day.
Right. Sorry, if you're seeing this now, you have like 2 seconds. Yeah, I just decided there's just a lot of crap happening. This is my studio, but are people going to be able to video, or is it just the
sound? On YouTube? Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is my studio. This is a bunch of bras. That's something that I made today, or that I finished today. And we just got done cleaning up, but I really need to declutter, and I needed to use the supplies that I have. I needed to get crap just moving through here. Not crap, that's a bad way of describing my work. Jesus. But I figured, hey, what better way to move stuff through than do a big sale and get everybody excited? So that's what I did. And I like doing sales because I feel like it makes everything a bit more, you know, if you've been saving, but you just haven't gotten there yet, but you really want something, here you go. You can do it now. You can get whatever you want. And the sale wasn't just for pre-made stuff. It was for all the custom stuff too, or is, if it's still going on by the time you post this. It is / was for all the custom stuff too. So that's fun. I've moved a few pre-made things already, which is great. The majority of the orders have been for customs, though, as people are excited about that.
Nice.
And I'm excited to make them. I like making colorful things for people, so yay.
Yeah, I don't make stuff. I know absolutely nothing about making stuff. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about your process and kind of like, I guess, I don't know, how long it takes or anything you want to tell us, because I know literally nothing. So.
Yeah, I mean, as for how long it takes, that's kind of a hard question to answer because it really just depends on what somebody orders and whether or not I break something or run out of something. I break things all the time. I run out of stuff all the time. I just so there's that. I have like the processing time that I have just because I have other things that I'm doing in my life and I'm not sitting in here all day every day, but I sit in here a lot. But things get done. If they didn't, that would be really bad for business. I think my process, I don't know if like, it's not free for all because people give me a list of parameters they want me to follow, right? But I try to just do everything in my own style, as best as I can. I'm glad people like it. Thank you. I don't really know how to describe it. Like, it's really hard because I'm just kind of in the zone and I'm just doing it, and I'm just pouring the silicone and putting stuff together and making sure it looks cute. And I take all the pictures and I make sure those look cute with like a cute background. I try to have a little consistent vibe, a little aesthetic going on. So, and I really enjoy what I do. I like doing it a lot. I know that's redundant, but I really do. And I hope that shows in my work. I want people to like my final product, but I want people to also see that I liked making it. Mm-hmm. And when they get it, I want them to think, wow, this person really put in the time and the effort. And if anybody ever feels the opposite, I encourage them to tell me so we can make it right. So, but I haven't really gotten any complaints. I enjoy it. And one thing that I really, really liked doing this at the end of last year, beginning of this year, was bringing in the siren allure molds, because I've always been a huge fan of Hailey and her molds and everything. And by the time that I wanted to get one for myself, she had gone out of business. I was like, crap. And I thought to myself, I wonder if she's ever if she's really done, I wonder if she's going to sell her molds, because I would snatch those up so quickly. And I just kind of set it in my head as a joke a few years ago. And finally she posted them for sale, and I snatched up as many as I could. And I got that octopus, which is my favorite thing in the world. Thank you, Hailey. And I have those posted up as a completely separate category, so people understand that those are from her. And she gets credit for that, even though she's not actively in the mermaid world right now, because she deserves it and she did a great job, and people need to know the name Siren Allure. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Nice.
And those have been a lot of fun to make. They're just so I just admire it so much.
Do you prefer making the like pre-made tops and people buying them, or do you prefer when people send you their custom orders? And like, which do you prefer, being more creative, I guess, or following more of like a guideline?
I think, I mean, in my brain, it's just kind of two different ball games, because the pre-made stuff is usually something that I just do. Like I don't really have pre-made parameters, you know. I just make what I make, and it's a great way to get my creativity flowing if I'm in a rut, or it's a great way to try something new that maybe I won't. I've put pre-made things up with molds that I don't even necessarily use anymore. I just wanted to see how they would work, and I personally, you know, may or may not be feeling it. So here's a pre-made thing that may not be offered as a custom, because it was just me trying something out. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You don't have to buy it. So it's two different things. Like, pre-mades are really me. And I say this, it's like, this might be a test product that I've made, so it might have a little bit of an imperfection somewhere that doesn't affect the function of the top, or this is me just really just going off the wall here and putting everything on the top to see what happens. And the custom orders are where I can use my creativity in a different way, because being creative within restrictions is a whole different type of challenge. Not restrictions as in bad restrictions, but, you know, people want what they want. So right. I have to figure out how to translate their vision into my style and make it into something that they're going to love. So yeah, I like both. I guess, you know, if I absolutely had to pick something, I would pick the customs as what I enjoy more.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And obviously tops are always going to be needed, always important, but mm-hmm. do you ever have any, looking towards the future, any visions or plans to maybe branch into tails or something other than tops?
I don't know, because one thing about the tops is that I work off of the measurements people give me, that I can then like buy some, like a bra is already measured right. out and made. I'm not very good at sewing. So that's where my learning curve would be, because the way that in my head I would make fabric tails or even silicone tails would probably have a fabric component inside of them, like the mer tailors do, because that's what I like and that's how I would do it. Mm-hmm. I really like making things to people's measurements from scratch. That's like a mental hurdle that I'd have to get over. So I don't have any plans to make tails. That doesn't mean that I won't. It's just not really, I don't ever really think about doing that. It seems like a whole other thing that I'd have to another thing I'd have to worry about. I would maybe consider doing fabric tails. I actually have some designs already mocked up. They just need to be printed and sewn. And I could figure that out if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
So fabric tails I would consider branching out into, or maybe even designing fabric tails for people, but I don't have a sewing machine right now. There's just a lot that I feel like would have to go on for me to make that possible. And right now I'm a little bit too busy.
Yeah, you do a lot already with, like I said, your tops, PADI Mermaid Instructor, running Lemonade Mermaids.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah. What are you most looking forward to this year coming up?
I really, I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to have a good time.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
I'm just trying to have a good time. I am, like I keep telling you guys in the group chat, I'm trying to get us a tank, at least something. But the majority of you guys are in the DMV, and I moved to Florida, so we'll see how that works out. I think that's like the next big goal that I'm working towards. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and it's not the end of the world. It's really just like a vanity thing for me. I just really want one because I really want one.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I just have a lot of cute ideas in mind. And my husband's an engineer, so he's gonna help me build it. Because I trust, he knows how to do all that stuff, so I trust him. And
nice.
Like the welding and the good stuff that I don't have a clue about, he can do it. And yeah, we'll see.
Nice. Well, for anybody, oh my goodness, my tongue. For anybody that is just learning about you from this episode, tell them where they can find you on social media and online and all that.
Okie dokie. Maybe you can like put a little graphic down here too.
Yeah.
But so when I do like the modeling stuff and it's just me, it's the Citrus Siren on Instagram, and everywhere else is the Lemonade Mermaid. It's the Lemonade Mermaid on TikTok. There's another Lemonade Mermaid Instagram, Facebook. I don't have Twitter anymore. I think that's it. I'm very like social media, whatever at this point. I use it because I feel like I have to. It's not fun anymore. I have like a Red Note account that I use and people like it. I don't remember. I think it's Lemonade Mermaid on there or something similar. You'll find me if you find me. I don't think I'm missing anything. The PADI Mermaid stuff is Citrus Dive & Co. So there's that too. But I'm kind of, so there's going to be a relaunch of that because it's a little bit stagnant. Too many social medias.
Yeah.
But my website is www.thelemonademermaid.com, and that kind of also links to everything relevant anyway. So that's really all you need to know.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts? Any final words of advice to any mermaids, mermaid aspirers?
I will tell you what I tell every new person. Just mind your business and keep it moving, and you will be totally fine. Don't get wrapped up in the weird petty stuff that doesn't make any sense. It will never make sense, and you'll feel so much better if you just let it go. Just let it go.
Yes. That drama, a lot of the drama, like you said, literally just never makes sense.
I don't get it, man. It's like, what do you mean? I wish, it's like, bro, I want to have empathy for the situation, but I can't because I don't understand, and I don't even know who this person is and what they did. Like, I'm so out of the loop. Like, one thing a lot of people hear me say is, "Who is that? Who is that?" Like, I don't know who anybody is. I'm just very out of the loop. So
it's best that way.
Probably.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, or me.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah, of course.
I'll come back on anytime you want me to. I'm here. I'm ready for it.
Great, thanks. I'm sure we'll have you back once I'm more savvy on how to actually do this.
Sure.
So if you're somewhere where you can leave comments, feel free to leave a comment saying what questions you want answered and what types of mer businesses you'd like to hear from and all that fun stuff. And we'll try to get that in the next few episodes. Thanks for watching / listening.
Thank you guys.